Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
That we certainly are. Great to have your company for another week here on Often Pacing on Tab Radio this Monday morning, the Monday after the Fremantle Cup, and a terrific Friday night at Gloucester Park. A wonderful race once again. Never fails to deliver, does the Fremantle Cup, and we saw on Friday night Catch a Wave able to complete the double. They came, they soared and they conquered, did the Gath team, and great to also hear from Andy Gath a little earlier on the Sports Daily that if it's not Catch a Wave coming back, at least the Gath team might be back once again. Tim Walker with you. I've got Ollie Cownie standing by, and hopefully Matt Young won't be too far away either. We'll also have a chat to Dylan Edgerton-Green this hour as we look to find a winner today and get a bit of an update on a couple of his stable stars that we have seen over the last few days. So looking forward to hearing from Dylan in about 20 minutes from now. As I said, hopefully Matt won't be too far away, but we do have Ollie Cownie standing by. Before we get to him, this is the closing stages of Friday night's Fremantle Cup.
Yet to pull out from the 1-1. Catch a Wave doing a tough out 4 wide. No run for Hot and Treacherous coming off the back straight. Catch a Wave is coming with a big run. 28.6 the next quarter, and Catch a Wave has raced up. Minstrel look gone. Catch a Wave has sprinted up to Jumping Jack Mack, who needs to respond. And then Minstrel, Penny Tiger around the turn. Catch a Wave looks like it's a double here for Kate Gass. She raced up, took the lead. Penny Tiger's getting out. Jumping Jack Mack is fighting on. And then Hot and Treacherous. Catch a Wave in front from Jumping Jack Mack. Penny Tiger flies late. Catch a Wave in front. Catch a Wave has won. Catch a Wave first. Second, Jumping Jack Mack. Third, I think, on the outside, Mighty Ronaldo. Maybe a nose in front.
Thrilling finish to the Retrovision Fremantle Cup. Catch a Wave beating Jumping Jack Mack and Penny Tiger. And that starts our discussion for this morning. Ollie Cownie is with us on the line. Ollie, good morning to you. Take two, Ollie. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tim.
How do we find you this morning?
I'm really good, thanks. It was an absolutely fantastic race on Friday, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and Matt Young's here as well to review it all. Hello to you again, Matty.
Good morning to you, Tim. Hello, Ollie. Everyone tuned in?
Well, let's get stuck straight into it, gents. And Matt, as we touched on a little earlier on the Sports Daily, you were down there. Everything that went on around the race and in the race itself, it lived up to the hype. And like we touched on with Trent Cooper on Friday night here in the studios at Tab Radio, the decision to move the Retrovision Fremantle Cup back a week after the Nullarbor paid handsome dividends.
Yeah, look, I could see a way that it could be a good lead-in race to the Nullarbor, and I think there's ways that they can tinker with it. I would have liked to have seen a bigger crowd there on Friday night. I think it started to build up towards the Fremantle Cup, but it was a great race and it was a great spectacle. And I guess the two races that we've seen, the Nullarbor and the Fremantle Cup, have both been outstanding spectacles. So that's what we're chasing when we're looking at feature racing in WA, is to be able to draw the crowd in. And we had some great horses and some great racing.
So, Ollie, your take on the performance of Catch a Wave and some of those in behind him?
Well, firstly, there was just obviously a bit of drama before the race with the scratching of Lavra Joe. You just really feel for connections there, drawing the pole and coming up as favourite in a really big race, the Freo Cup, and then having him scratched last minute. I'm sure their main concern is the horse's welfare, but really it would have just been a crushing blow for them, and it changed the complexion of the race completely in the end. Jumping Jack Mack decided to go forward following the scratching of Lavra Joe, and he was able to find the front. Then they probably ran a really, really strong tempo. It ended up a track record, the race, so they really ran along, and Minstrel found himself in the breeze, and he cracked late, but understandably, given the tempo they went at 28.8 first quarter and a 29 second quarter and a 28 third quarter. It was just a really brutal tempo, and it was quite an incredible run of Catch a Wave to look them. Had to go 4 wide down the back, and still was just fantastic and so fast, and just everything we know him to be. He was on Friday, and it was fantastic to see him loop them and reel them in, and put any doubts to bed that he can run a trip, because he's run the 2900 out there really strongly.
Matt, your parade ring interviews were so critical. The one with Chris Voke, that he was 9 out of 10 confident, even though he didn't say it to us on the Retrovision Gloucester Park preview on Friday morning, that he would get across Lavra Joe. And obviously Lavra Joe coming out made the job for Penny Tiger a lot easier, significantly easier. How did you end the parade ring coverage thinking that this race would be run?
Well, I thought, I did actually think with what Chris was saying, and he mentioned Jumping Jack Mac, and I thought, well, Stewie was sort of up in the air about what he was going to do, and with the scratching of Lavra Joe, it really changed his idea of how he was going to look at the race. And I thought, well, if Penny Tiger leads like we think, and I thought Cole Semmington was going to come out and make sure that Jack Callaghan couldn't get back off for the retake, it just all depended on whether Jumping Jack Mac was going to be able to get around swing band early, and he was able to do that pretty comfortably. And he got to Penny Tiger first, and Stewie just had a little look, asked the question, and the front was there. So, it sort of changed. It changed the ideas of a lot of drivers, but interviewing Kate Gath as well, she said she didn't want to get sucked into it, so she decided to go back, and it ended up being a really good decision, because the tempo, as Ollie mentioned, was so strong out in front. Minstrel pouring the pressure on Jumping Jack Mac, and as soon as that 28.8 went up for the first quarter, I thought, well, Catch a Wave's coming right into this race, and it was a great finish.
It certainly was. All right, is there, for either of you, is there a horse to follow out of the Fremantle Cup, Matt? Is there one for you?
Oh, I just always loved Mighty Ronaldo, and yep. I think he's just always been one of my favourites. I think Jumping Jack Mac is going in absolutely sparkling form. Penny Tiger, going forward, I think Penny Tiger's proven that he deserves to be there.
Yeah,
there's been so many. We talk about people knocking Catch a Wave, which is just ridiculous that someone could knock a horse that's nearly won $2 million in, I think, 40 starts. He's been unbelievable, and he just keeps winning, so you can keep knocking him, but he keeps winning. But saying that he can't run the distance, well, he's proven twice in 7 days that he can run the distance and perform at his absolute top. And Penny Tiger also proved he can run the distance, and he's becoming a better, well-crafted horse with to use his speed and be able to come back underneath the driver, which has been a problem of his in the past. That's going to hold him in good stead in free-for-all races. So I think Penny Tiger, he's the big one to follow in the next 12 months, because that gate speed is going to put him into the A1 position more often than not.
What about you, Ollie?
I thought, even the winner, Catch a Wave, I think Connections have mentioned that their next target's a Lenswood Mile. I mean, off the back of these two runs, it'd be really hard to see what horse can beat him off that, with his brilliant gate speed as well over a mile. I think he'll go really close to winning that, obviously a few months away, but I think he's definitely one to follow there. And then, as Matt mentioned, Penny Tiger, just the way he's been able to come back this time in and settle really well and run out a really strong long trip, it's just been amazing, and he really has gone to another level as a horse. And I think that with his gate speed, he'll just be a real force in any race he can draw the front row. And Mighty Ronaldo, he was absolutely flooding home late, so it looks like he's right back to his best stuff. There was one indifferent run in there for him, but since his 2 runs since have been fantastic, so I think he's a horse to follow, Mighty Ronaldo.
All right, keep rolling, Ollie. Out of the rest of the evening, who caught your eye from the balance of the GP card?
In race 4, State of Heaven, he was the first horse 3 wide. He was up in grade. It was a really strong race where Steal the Show was out in front, and he was the first one wide, and he stuck on really, really gamely for a strong 4th in some pretty sharp late splits. So I thought in an easier race, when he drops back, State of Heaven can be really, really hard to beat. And then in race 9, Diorce, really good following up Wall Street Girl out wide, and he made good ground late and was hitting the line hard. So I think he's just ended up too far back in his recent races. If he can settle a bit closer in the run, I think he can win one soon.
All right, so a couple of Padberg runners to take note of there from Ollie. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, look, I thought the horses sort of run up to their standards throughout the meeting, but Franco Weston sort of caught my eyes, a horse that's eligible for races at Calabaron, and we've got a Calabaron meeting coming up this Sunday, and I just like the way that he hit the line. He was second up after a freshen up, and I just think if he drops back in grade, he's going to get a win on the board pretty soon. So he was sort of one and done for me in terms of horses to follow out of the meeting. I think everything else sort of ran up to the standards expected of them.
Okay, so that is State of Heaven Diorce for Ollie. Matt going Franco Weston out of Friday night. So our attention turns to Pinjarra today, and we're looking forward to the 9-event program. Matt, we'll get you to fire away. So last week, very close to the mark, and then obviously Tuesday night, quite profitable for our listeners that followed your tips here on Off and Pacing. You're going to fire away in race number 2 today.
Yep, we'll stay focused and move on to race number 2 today, and that is with a trifecta, I think, is the play of the day in this race. I think you need to just play Prince of Pain strongly in the win box, Atlas the Titan strongly in for second, and then it's just a battle between 1 and 8 for third, in my opinion. So I guess there's a few ways that you can go about it. You can go 3 from 5, 1 and 8 for third. 3-5-3-5, 1-8 for third, or if you want to be extra aggressive, 3 from 5 and then 1. I think those are the 4 horses that are going to run into the money. So I'm pretty confident about that. We'll see how we go there. Race number 2. Then we move on to, help me out, Tim.
Race number 7.
Race? Yep, trifectas again, the way to go here. Captain Bligh, I think, should lead and win, so I think it's a pegs affair here. 1 from 8 from 9 looks to be the play of the day there. Maybe throw an advantage in for that third box just in case cut and runs run short. But at the same time, I think Captain Bligh will open them up in the concluding stages, and it will be pegs affair. So 1-8-9 is the way to go there. And in the final event, Better Have Faith, straight out, I think we'll get the job done. I marked Carana as my best, but it's come up a little bit shorter than expected now, so I think Better Have Faith. You could probably couple both of those up, but race 9, number 6, for a single bet, Better Have Faith.
I like these trifecta plays, a little bit of creativity. So Prince of Pain from Atlas the Titan, and then Icy Cold or Sonic Sealster to fill the third placing, and then Captain Bligh, Soho Firestone, cut and run in race number 7. Better Have Faith straight out in race 9. Now, Ollie, Pinjarra last week, you saw them well. You're going to start in race number 2 as well.
I'm seeing them similar to Matt here. Icy Cold, I thought she was really good last start to staying a long run from a long way back. She tired late, but she's probably entitled to. She's been used once off the gate and she made a break, but before making a break, she was actually showing some pretty good gate speed. So I think from the inside here, she can probably dig up and hand to the right horse, and I think she looks a good place bet. Anything above $2 looks pretty good value. And then race 3, I thought one at real big odds was Lunetta. Numerical form is pretty terrible for this filly, but I thought she trialled quite well behind Lightning Banner leading into this campaign, and then pretty disappointing first up, but last start she was, I thought, a lot better, sustaining a long run out wide on the track, and she beat another horse home here who's she's coming up against and is a much shorter price. So I thought she could find a spot in the running line early, and then at decent each way odds she could run into the money. And then in race 8, I thought Ideal in Gold, first start was really, really impressive last start. Too strong in the end after finding the top mid-race. He had to do quite a bit of work there. I think if he can stay ahead of Carana and Parakeet in this race, who are both off 20 metres, I think he can go a long way to winning. The query probably is the 2,600, but I think he can just do enough if he does lead to hold on at the end of the race.
Okay, so that is Icy Cold, a good place bet there in race number 2. Lunetta on the each-way basis in race 3, and Ideal in Gold in race number 8. The stand, of course, Matt's best. If you did listen into the Sports Daily earlier on, he was keen on the prospects of Carana there. Looking forward to that standing start event today. All right, now, Ollie, we'll get you to start with Gloucester Park tomorrow night, and we turn our attention, our first look at this meeting, to race number 5, and this is where the first of your plays comes up.
A little bit of fun in this race. It's just been devoid of any luck when it comes to barrier draws for quite some time now. Doesn't draw the best gate here, but I thought following through a decent beginner in Henwood Bay, we'll be able to settle up pretty close in the race, and it looks like there could be some speed on here. So if there is some speed on and it's run upside down, I think the way he's been finishing off his races, it'd be really hard to beat if they did run it upside down. So I thought it looked a decent each-way bet, a little bit of fun in that race. And then in race 9, a horse I've been following for a few starts now and hasn't quite gotten the job done, Saloon. A number of placings next to his name, but I don't think he's a non-winner. He's been super in each of those runs. I think he's just been a bit unlucky at times and left his run a little bit too late. He was really good last start. Another one where he just left his run slightly too late, but I think he's really well in off the 20-metre handicap here ahead of a lot of his main rivals. I think the hardest to beat is Nicky's Son, but has the handicap advantage on that horse, so I think Saloon will be really hard to beat there.
All right, so that is a little bit of fun in race 5 and race 9, Saloon, for Ollie tomorrow night. Now, Matt, you're going to the opener. This 3-year-old event to start the evening's proceedings there at headquarters is going to be an interesting one.
Absolutely right, and it's sort of chips in here for me, Tim. I think off the charts he showed his gate speed, which is something I guess I've forgotten about with his last start, but at that 17-30 metre start he can get a slingshot from the outside. And looking at the horses underneath him, Franklin Delano's having only his second start, and he'll be following out to the right behind the back of the Mobile, which could be a little bit daunting for him in his second go. Prime Mover, Better Arcade, Cover Notes, Rock and Roll Train, I think off the charts could get a slingshot and get across these. He nearly crossed Cork and Run, who nearly led on Friday night in the Caduceus Club Classic. So I think that gate speed has really had the form franked, and I think if off the charts crosses down to the marker pegs, I think it'll be game over. So race 1, number 7 off the charts, I thought he could lead and win the opening event. All
right, off the charts there, and the second of your plays tomorrow night comes up in race number 8.
Yeah, look, I really like Codename Marcus. I don't think he'll find a much easier race to drop back into. He should be able to get the job done in this race. I do think he might come up at prohibitive odds, but he was 4th last start behind the Mickey Taker Skylord. I think that's a really good form line for this race. So I think he'll be winning, but at the same time, if he is a bit too short, I think Road Closure will run a good race and is a good place bet in that event. Cam's Boulders a likely improver, so I'd be playing around the novelties with 6 winning and 1 being able to run second or third, so anchoring those 2, 1 to win, or 6 to win I should say, and 1 to run second or third. That would be how I'd play race number 8, but I think Codename Marcus should be able to get the job done, but I think Road Closure can run a place as well.
All right, off the charts in race 1 and Codename Marcus in race number 8 there for Matt. All right, gents, thanks for your time this morning. I know we're off the back of the Nullarbor and the Fremantle Cup, but the nominations have just come out for Friday night. We've got the $50,000 4 and 5-year-old championship where seniors got the bases loaded, but it doesn't end there. There's plenty of depth to the nominations in that race, and then the Breeders' Stakes as well, and we get to see Artie by the Seaside there again potentially after she really made an impression first up in the state on Nullarbor night. So there'll be plenty to dissect next Monday morning, and obviously we'll look ahead to another big couple of meetings as well. So enjoy the next few days and hopefully many winners to you, Matt.
Cheers, guys.
And Ollie, all the best to you as well.
Thanks, Tim.
There is Ollie Cownie and Matt Young. All right, we'll take a very short break. Looking forward to catching up with Dylan Edgerton-Green on the other side of it. Obviously, a really interesting runner in the opening race today at Pinjarra, which we'll be able to work through with him. And we can also get a little bit of a snapshot on how his stable is tracking along. A few good results over the weekend and a nice return as well to some really good form of Too Fast, Too Serious on Friday night. So looking forward to chatting to him in just a moment.
How would you like to promote your business to over 150,000 people every week? Not only in the Perth metro area, but statewide through the Tab Radio network. Advertising on Tab Radio is a cost-effective way of reaching a large attentive audience. Listening in the car, office, home, online, and through the Tab Touch app. For more, email radioadvertising@rwwa.com.au.
Why are more people choosing Retrovision for all the electrical stuff they love? Well, I know our AC members love saving an extra 5% every day. Want to shop with confidence? Well, you've got Retrovision's lowest price guarantee. If it's more about shopping stress-free, check out our buy now, pay later options. And then, of course, who doesn't love shopping with Retrovision's 60-day price promise? So for all the electrical stuff you love, you're going to love shopping with us in-store or online at retrovision.com.au.
Let's begin. When it comes to insurance, Phoenix Insurance Brokers are the trusted name in WA. Celebrating 30 years in the business, they know how to make complex processes easy. PIB offers competitive rates, a choice of companies, and most importantly, the experience, which gives them great insight into client needs. PIB provide tailored practical solutions with the personal touch to help you protect your business. So contact Phoenix Insurance Brokers today at phoenixins.com.au.
You are listening to Often Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
You certainly are. It's great to have your company this Monday morning in the run-up to 10 o'clock, and it's great to have Dylan Edgerton-Green with us on the line looking ahead to today, and we can get a bit of an update on some of his stable stars as well that we saw over the course of the weekend. Dylan, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Timmy and listeners. How are you travelling?
Going very nicely. How about yourself ahead of what's a busy couple of days ahead for you, and I'm sure an interesting couple of days ahead for you as well as we get to Pinjarra today in particular?
Yeah, it's good. Strong easterly down here today, but forecast a bit of rain tomorrow. So, yeah, being the farmers that we are, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'd be welcome changing conditions. Now, let's start with today. I'm really interested to get your thoughts on Curard in the opener. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of interest around this pacer today off the back of what was a really nice trial last Wednesday week at Pinjarra. Has everything gone to plan with him since that trial?
Yeah, Timmy, touch wood. Everything seems good. He's worked on well. He probably went to the trials and probably just exceeded expectations a little bit. He's been a horse with ability, but he's had a fair few problems along the way as he's only having the first start at 3. But yeah, he looks like he's raced to probably lose today, so hopefully he can go out and get the job done. Yeah,
can you give us a little bit of an insight into the path that it's taken you to get to this stage?
Yeah, so it was actually a very tricky horse to break in. And then once that happened, he was actually not too far off trialling and damaged the tendon. So then he went out and then he come back and he's had a few preps on the way up and done a lot of swimming and stuff. And finally, he's got to where he is now and fingers crossed we can go out and make every post a winner. Yeah, exactly right. You mentioned that it looks a good assignment today. Do you get the feeling that this is not only just a horse that's capable of winning today, but going on with it and hopefully really making his presence felt in some stronger races than this in time? Yeah, that would be good. But obviously, I just let the horses do the talking. You can have big expectations of them and they can go to the races and really let you down. But he's shown all the signs that he can work his way through it, and fingers crossed he can be the one that steps up over the next couple of months with a few feature 3-year-olds coming up. Yeah, exactly right. And obviously we've seen the half-brother, the younger half-brother in recent times for you as well in Captain Paprika going around. So hopefully we can see Curard perform well today. Just a very quick word. You've got a couple of drives for Colin as well this afternoon. Matt just mentioned about Sonic Sealster being perhaps a nice each-way play, one to throw in the trifectas. Would you talk any of the listeners out of doing that if that is indeed the way that they're looking to play? No, I definitely think he's a great each-way chance. He's going to get a little bit nicer run than he's had his previous few, not having to burn off the gate, hopefully. He's got a good quarter in him, and hopefully the favourite has to do a little bit of work, and he can be the one just nabbing him on the line.
And what's Colin's report in regards to it's just a shot away in race number 4, who, of course, it does look a nice setup for him?
Yeah, he had a nice opinion of this horse early on, and it just kept on getting problem after problem, and finally they got it to the races, and then things didn't go right, so they give him a nice spell. Come back, he had a trial, and he actually trialled really good against a nice horse, and I think he should improve off that. So, yeah, I think he's got a bit of a future, hopefully, and hopefully for owners he can get the job done and get the money in the bank for him today.
Dylan Edgerton-Green is with us on Off and Pacing. Now, that's today. So a word back to Friday night, if we can get you to cast your mind back. The Fremantle Cup, obviously Tenzing Bromack. We know that the circumstances didn't work out for him on the night. Do we just completely rule a line through how that played out on Friday night?
Yeah, definitely. Nothing sort of went his way. He sort of probably didn't travel as good once he went 3 wide, but then he got the flat tyre, and it was lights out from there. But it was a real good race, and I wouldn't be too worried about him. He'll bounce back when he goes around next. He's just a warrior. So it was good, just not his night.
And the other of the features was the Caduceus Club. You had Cork Can Run. I don't think there's any doubting his ability to measure up to this level. How did you come away from Friday night?
Really disappointed, to be fair to him. He was involved in a little bit of the early speed, but he just didn't travel at all in the run. So, we're going to do a few tests on that during the week and see if we can get a finger on the pulse. His first 2 starts have been good, but I still wasn't overly impressed with him. We did geld him after his last prep and hope that he come back with a little bit better mindset, but maybe there's something else there that's just not quite right. So we're going to get our finger on the pulse on that, and hopefully next time he goes around, he's a bit better horse. All
right. Now, Too Fast, Too Serious, I thought that was a really encouraging performance. A couple of starts back now, but that in a race that clearly it was going to be tough to beat the favourite. He did everything in his power on Friday night, couldn't he? Too Fast, Too Serious? Yeah, no, very happy with him, Tim. Obviously very dangerous. Sitting camp there. Didn't really get the perfect run to be able to win it, but he got out and got home good. They're in a solid last half and a quick last quarter, and he made ground on it. So fingers crossed, we can hopefully see that form that he had then return for this whole campaign. And he's obviously been nominated this week. Do you feel now that a few of the big name free-for-allers are probably going to go for a break and start thinking about later on in the year, he's on the way up, that he can be playing a part in some of these free-for-alls over winter? Yeah, that's sort of probably been our plan, Tim. Once he come back from over east, which obviously didn't really work out too good for him, we just thought we can try and pick up a few easy ones in winter and pay some of the bills. That would be good. But it's just good to see him find the line as good as he did, and hopefully that can be just dangerous in the weeks to come. Now, we saw Mungatahi win at Northam on Friday night as well, and is among 3 that you've nominated for the 4 and 5 year old championship. Rockmeister, Hale St. Louis and Mungatahi. Are you hopeful that all 3 of them, we can see them in the $50,000 feature on Friday? Yeah, I actually nominated to have a look at them. Where they're going to figure best, Tim. Yep. There's a few other races throughout the weekend that might suit them better. But obviously there'll be 1 or 2 going around in that, definitely. Mungatahi was good at Northern. Chris bounced to the front, and it was just curtains from there. And it was good for him to get the win, and he puts a bit of effort in at the farm stables. So good reward for Chris. So that's good. And Hale St. Louis, he just needs a little bit of luck and against those better ones, and he can be dangerous. So we'll see. And then Rockmeister, his first run back from a lengthy spell, so we'll see. Nominate him for a few races, but he's working good at home and probably take 1 or 2 runs to be at his brilliant best. But he's a nice horse, and hopefully he can go through his grades this prep. All right, Dylan, just one more before we do let you go. There's been a couple of interesting 2-year-olds that we've seen from your stable as well, and we saw Purely Pandemic for the first time on Friday night. A good outing there. You would have been happy with that?
Yeah, very happy with her, Tim. She sort of doesn't really give you that much to write home about at home, and she's gone out, done everything quite well, and showing she's put her hand up that she wants to stay in the camp, and fingers crossed if we can get another race and get a bit more experience under her, I'm sure she'll come back next prep even better again.
And we have had one off our Retrovision text line as well that was taken with the performance of Full Swing Denario. I know it was a small field that he beat a couple of weeks ago. How he's tracking along?
Yeah, he actually went out for a short spell,
Yep.
so he'll be back next week. He comes back into work, and really like him. He just was probably, his mindset probably wasn't in at his last start, so we elected to give him a bit of a freshen up, and he'll come back and hopefully he can continue on his way.
Fantastic. Well, great to get an update on a range of horses with you this morning. Good luck today at Pinjarra, and hopefully towards Friday night as well with feature racing there. You can be thereabouts, particularly the 4 and 5-year-old championship. Thanks for your time this morning on Off and Pacing.
Thank you, Tim. Go home and have a nap and rest up, ready for tomorrow morning.
Sounds good. There is Dylan Edgerton-Green with us on the line. So that is another edition of Off and Pacing. Thanks for listening in this morning. We'll be back again next week, and as I said, the feature racing in terms of the Fremantle Cup and the Nullarbor, it may be done, but looking ahead to Friday night, it looks set to be another really intriguing night down there at Gloucester Park, and plenty of high-quality animals on display. Looking forward to wrapping it all up with you again next Monday morning, and we'll have Matt and Ollie back once again. I'm going to vacate the chair, and we'll have Leah Ernest in for the early part of race day. Back plenty of winners today.